Well, this time I'm gonna replace the brake pads on the fronts. Several years ago, probably 4 to 5 years ago, I replaced the pads and the rotors at that time. Rotors all look still pretty good. Um, I use the eccentric pads and rotors. But one thing that the eccentric pads don't include that the OEM pads shim kit has is the this extra plate, which is on the outside. It just comes with the one back plate, kind of similar to this. And I'm not sure if there's an issue with some noise I've been picking up on and off with the kind of chattering going on. So I decided to go ahead and just replace the pads, and they're pretty easy to do. You don't even have to take the calipers off. Everything's accessible right here. So I got the new OEM pads and the shim kit. So I replaced all of the parts to it. The rotors I'm going to leave alone. They're actually not too bad, and like I said, they're easy to get off. You just have to take the caliper off, which is 2 bolts. But you start by taking the wheel off, which it is a 21 millimeter socket I just use on my 1/2 inch. Makes it real easy to get the nuts off of there. Then I use a torque wrench to bring them back down to like 105 or something like that. So this is going to kind of be a kind of video as I go. Just wanted to kind of start it out here, take the wheel off, turn the wheel, steering wheel, so you can have better access to these, so they're kind of pointing away. But they're really easy to do. Once you remove the kit, slide the pads out. You may have to compress the pistons, which I have this guy here, which works pretty well. I do loosen the cap on the brake fluid reservoir just in case, but usually nothing ever comes out. I just do it just in case. I just kind of pop the top on it so while I'm working on it. So we'll kind of go from there. There's don't forget your grease. If you buy the Lexus one from them, they do give you a little pack of grease, which you can use on the back of the 2 plates. And some people will put them on, you know, like the top parts. It's just kind of up to you, but at least the back part is what you want to do. So we'll just start by removing the top piece, and then you've got this clip here. And just make sure that when you put the slide pins back in, that you make sure that the holes that the top clip goes into right up in here. Otherwise you got to pull it out. So remove the center clip, the side, and then you have this bottom clip here that comes out, which is this piece right here. And I think that's about it. We'll just kind of see how this goes again. I was kind of rusty at it, but I wanted to do them real quick. So we'll just kind of end here and we'll pick it up again in a few minutes. Okay, so we've taken the calipers out. So you can see I removed the 2. And it did have the other clip on it, this top piece with the arrow. Make sure when you put them back that the arrows are facing forward in the direction that the wheel is spinning to the front. That makes a difference. Probably because if you put them backwards, the plate is on backwards. So they just want to keep you on the right direction. But the pads don't look too bad. But like I said, I was picking up some noise. I thought this plate was missing, so that's why I wanted to take them apart and start over again. But it looks like they were there all along. Just not sure, but we'll see when we're done and how it behaves. Like I said, just remove them. You may have to compress the pistons back to make room for the newer pads, because it'd be a little thicker than the other ones. So they're a little bit, if you compare them, not too far off, maybe just a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and do them anyway, like I said. So I said just take those clips off of there. They just basically just, you know, the top one there is spring loaded. You just pull down on it and clip it out of these two holes when you take this one out. So this just kind of fits in there, and then all you gotta do is just pull back on it and it'll pull that out, and then you're done with it. The other ones, just take some needle nose, undo them around each of the little slide pins, and then you're done. So it's not too difficult. Like I said, you don't have to take the rotor off or the caliper off on this one. So we'll continue on, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, next little follow-up here. So I put together this one. I said the arrow, this would be on the right side of the disc, so the arrow's pointing up, and this would be on the left side of the disc, so the arrow's pointing up when you put them in. So when you put them in, you put the back plate on first, and then you have, I think they call that the anti-chatter plate, I can't remember which, but you have this wire here that you need to attach to hold the plates in. That's important, which is these guys right here. So those just kind of clip through the top hole, go around, wrap around the back, come from up from behind, and then clip right there. It's pretty, just snaps in there. It's not a whole lot more than that. So make sure you put that on there before you put the pads back in the rotor. So grease the first back plate, and then grease over the top of the second one, so it looks like that, and then you can put them in. So that's where we're at, the next step before we put the rest of the gear on. So we'll come back in a minute. Okay, we're done with it now. So we got the new clip here, the new one on the bottom that goes underneath the slide pin and then clips into the brake pad on this side. And then I reused this one. It just loops around those two slide pins, and then it goes into those two holes that are in the slide pin. So take a wire brush when you before you put the slide pins back in, just to kind of clean them off, get that buildup and any corrosion off of it, and then just put some grease on it just to kind of help lube it in there. And then that's what you wind up with. So I have the old clip here, and these will be the new ones for the other side. The old ones are still on the old pad, so you see the clip there. So that one thing I did make a mistake on, I realized when I put these on the first time, is that the clip should also been holding this down too, kind of like it is over here, but I missed one of those on this side, so they may have been creating some extra vibration or some chatter, I'm not sure. But I made sure that when I put the these clips on, that I wrapped them around both plates, the top shim and the bottom shim. But all that looks good now, and just have to make sure they compress your calipers, because otherwise they're probably not going to fit. The new shoes or new pads aren't going to fit because of the thickness has come down some. So like I said, just get anything you can come up with. This is pretty easy. Just put it in there, spin it down, it'll just push back, and then you're good to go. So I'm done with this side. I'm going to do the passenger side next. So it's it's the same. So hopefully that makes sense. There's other videos out there that show you exactly how to do it again, but I went ahead with the OEM shim kit there, and then the fitting kit that they call it, anti-shim kit, and then the fitting kit. The fitting kit was all of these things here, all the little wires and holders and spring clips, and then the shim kit was the plates. So just want to go with that, and If I have any more, I'll record in a minute. Thanks. Bye. Okay, just to show you real quick, one last thing on the passenger side. On mine, you have the brake wear sensor, which is this guy here, which has its own little clip. So make sure you don't lose that if you don't get one in your kit. I thought I saw one in my kit, but now I can't find it. But you can reuse the same clip. That's when you thread it through the hole here. So when this clips on, the sensor is through the hole, and then the clip goes in there, and then the clip is right behind it. So I just want to point that out to you because this side does have the wear pad sensor. I think on the rear, if I remember, there's one on the rear, probably on the driver's side, or no, I think it's on the passenger side as well. But that's just a look at what I got on the passenger side. And I think that's about it. Once we pull all the gear off, make sure you clean off the pins and get the corrosion off of it. And then the pads, that clips are, and then, yep, so you just gotta pull these out. You may have to get some needle nose, grab onto it. And that's all you're doing right there. So grab onto that. Sometimes you have to wiggle it a little bit to get it to come out. But you'll get it out eventually. There it goes. So just kind of work them out and then make sure I compress the calipers again. And that's about it. I think I end it here. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward on just the pads. The rotor's pretty easy to go off. Just one thing to remember. On the front, you have these holes here on the disc. If you're stuck trying to get these off of there, which these actually were pretty good on the other side, I wouldn't have had to do this part, but if they seize up, you get a bolt that matches inside there. Just tighten it up. A lot of times you'll get that to pop free because it's going to push against the back of the hub there, and then just pull, and it'll pop that whole disc pad or the disc off of there. So if it seizes up, find a bolt that matches into there, and it'll just pop out of there. It'll just pop that disc free. So just wanted to let you know, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.